Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Nakia and I'm a data analyst, and today we are going to be continuing our Tableau Tuesday series. This is going to be episode 2. If you haven't seen the first part or episode 1, I will link that in my description box as well as in the eye above. So as I mentioned in the first part of this series, the videos are going to be based on comments and your feedback on the videos. So as you guys want to learn how to do certain things, or if you have questions about things that you see me doing in these tutorials, leave them in the comment section and I will address them in a future video. So today I'm going to start off by addressing one of the comments that had to do with the join date from the Netflix user base data. So I have that data set up. And in the first video, you guys saw that the join date in the Excel file that we downloaded, you see that some of the dates appear to be in a date, like a standard month, day, year format, but other dates, they appear to be in a day, month, year format, and they weren't consistent in the data set, and it wasn't being picked up in Excel. And in my experience in the past with a particular data set, I wasn't able to change it from being a text or string to a date format in Tableau. So what I did was that I changed the date format. I used the formula in Excel to change the format so that all of the dates match the same format of month, day, year. So I did that in the first tutorial. Again, I'll link that in the eye above and in the description box if you haven't seen it. One of the comments asked if I can do a deep dive. I'm not exactly sure what you mean by a deep dive, but hopefully this explanation helps a little bit more. But what I did was I used an Excel function. I believe it was the mid function because I've already pasted over this. I did like a paste special values, but if I remember or recall correctly, and I will play the video over this clip, but I believe I used the mid function, which allowed me to take certain characters based on their position in this date and bring them together as a month, day, year, which was the format of other dates in here that was being picked up by Excel as a date. As you can see, this is saying general. And when I move this data into Tableau, let's go there. So when I initially drop this data set into Tableau, it generally, when you drop your data in, it will recognize the data types. It will say, okay, this hashtag, that means that it's picking up that it's a number. This ABC means that it's picking up that it's a string. Like your data is in that. That's the data type that it's recognizing it as. It doesn't do that all the time, but typically it interprets your data types correctly. So in this case, the join date was being picked up as a string. So what I did was I clicked on the little calendar icon that you see here, and I changed it from a string to a date to see if it would automatically pick up that format and correct it for me, which it did. And we double checked that in the initial video. I added in this additional field in the event that Tableau did not correct it when I changed the date format or the data type within the Tableau tool. Hopefully that answers your question, but if not, please leave a comment on this video and I can try to address it in a future video or just respond to your comment. But hopefully that addresses like a little bit more in detail what I did and why I did it. So if Tableau didn't, if I changed this to a string, if I changed this from a string to a date and it did not pick up those dates, I already had my second join date field in here that was already formatted correctly. So that's why I did it. So I hope that answers your question. All right, so moving on, this next question was, what are the most common charts, visualizations that you use in your job? So I will say that the most common charts that I use are going to be your standard, like 60 to 70% of the time, a pie chart, a line chart, a stacked column chart, or a bar chart. Those solve or address most of the questions that you're being asked or that I'm being asked. But I will say for my role specifically, because I have to provide a very granular level of detail down to the individual sales representative, I use a lot of text charts. So text charts are just It has your name, ID information, and it has your results. So let's go ahead and create one of those. Like, this is specific to my role because I have to provide such a low level of detail so that each individual can see their own performance. A bar chart, a pie chart will not be helpful if I, Nakya, need to see what my performance is. Like, how is a bar chart going to be helpful where it's summarizing everyone's performance? That's not helpful to me. However, in our dashboards, we do provide, like pretty much everyone does this, where we have, if we're providing like such a low level of detail, we will provide a tab in our dashboards that's like an executive overview tab, and that has your bar charts and pie charts or whatever other kind of graphs you're using or charts that you're using to represent the summary of all the performance results. We'll have that, so it's like a higher level of detail. Like, executives, they're just looking at performance. They're not going down and looking at each individual employees' performance. They're just looking at a summary by group, you know? Like, what is this sales team doing? What is this market doing? Like, executives need to see that piece. So we typically will have a tab there, but our customer or stakeholder or clients, at least for me, is typically down to the sales representative level. So the dashboard is being built for them to go in and see their own individual performance, which is why I need to do a text table. But for executives, if they just want to go in and see a summary of performance, there's a tab there for them. So let me just explain kind of like what a text table would be. It would kind of be laid out like a spreadsheet you would see in Excel. So like if you were to put like in this case, we have like customer information, like subscriber information. So if it shows like what their user ID was, if it showed the subscription type, if it shows their age, this is a text table. So it's broken down by each individual user where they can go in and see their own specific information, because this pie chart, how is that helpful to me if I'm user ID 1? It's not. So I need to provide a lower level of detail so each individual subscriber in this example would be able to see their information. This is the type of table that I would create on a more frequent basis, or that's pretty much this type of table layout is in all of my dashboards. But that's just me, specific to me. But again, I do also add in an executive overview slide, which has results summarized that, they can view at a higher level of detail. So yeah, hopefully that answers your question. All right. And then also I wanted to show you guys with this pie chart, because this is one of the charts that I use like in my data sets. A lot of people like the donut chart. So I wanted to show you how I change my pie chart into a donut chart. So because that is a chart that I use in my dashboards as well. They're really popular. People like them for whatever reason. So let's go ahead and duplicate this sheet. So I'm going to duplicate this and I'm going to rename this to donut chart. And I'm going to use this as the basis for like what we already have set up from our prior video. I'm going to use this as the basis for creating the donut chart. So with the donut chart, what we actually need to do is have we're going to have like 2 pie charts. So what I need to do is I'm going to create a dummy field in order to get a second pie chart. So what we typically do there is we just enter dummy fields by entering 0, 0, to get my second pie chart. So you can see I have 2 pie charts. So what I'm going to do, and this is my first chart here, this is my second chart here. My second chart, I don't need all of the like labels and pie chart breakout for that. So what I'm going to do is actually go through removing all of these fields from my second chart. So as I click remove, you can see everything being removed from here. So we just are left with a gray circle. And then so that I can combine them together, I'm going to change this to a dual axis. So it will move one pie chart on top of the other. And all I do is click on the triangle next to the second zero, like sum zero. If you click on that and then click on dual axis, it combines them into one. Now what I need to do is make one chart bigger than the other so that I can create my donut. So what I'm going to do is go into my first pie chart, which still has all the colors and labels, and I'm going to adjust the size. So over here on the left in our marks card, there is a mark where you can adjust the size. So if you just click here on the size and drag that to the right, you will start to see the donut forming. So I'm just going to make that a little bigger. And now I need to adjust the size of my second chart because you can see it's small, just to have it look a little better. I'm going to go to the second chart and I'm going to adjust the size of that to make it a little bigger and adjust it to the size that you like. I like it a little here. And the last thing that I'm going to do is to have, well, maybe not the last thing, but the next thing I'm going to do is to change the color so it matches the color of my background, which is white. So this is still on the second pie chart or second circle. I'm going to adjust the color and change it to white so it matches our background. So now we have a donut chart. What I would recommend you also do here is to hide the accent. If I hit Control and uncheck Show Header, so I don't have that on the chart. So now we've created our donut chart, which still has the same information from our pie chart, but people like the donut chart. So there you go. And of course you can adjust the tooltip here. I'm not going to do that at the moment. We haven't gotten into that yet, but anytime you hover over a chart, the tooltip is that little pop-up box that kind of gives you a summary of what's being shown. You do want to adjust that and delete. Well, we can delete that out. Like I wouldn't want this sum zero showing, if that makes sense, in my second one. Did it delete or not? I was not in the right chart. Okay, so if I delete that and hit OK, then you can see I don't have a tooltip there. Okay, all right, so that is it for that chart that I use and for the donut chart. If you have any questions about it, go ahead and leave a comment. If there's anything I probably blew past, just let me know and we can address it in the next Tableau Tuesday video. So that's going to be it for today's Tableau Tuesday. I hope that helps you guys out. Again, this Tableau workbook I am going to publish. The link will be in the description box. If you have any questions or if there's any other charts that you want to learn how to do or any additional questions that you have, again, leave them in the comment section because the comments are what's going to drive the content for Tableau Tuesday. And if I don't have any comments on this video, I'll try and go back and address some comments that I missed on the first video in the next video. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Love you. Talk to you next time. Bye.